Alien, Earth's best episode, creates one frustrating Maginot Crew question. Alien Earth's 5th episode surpassed all expectations and is easily the show's best entry so far. But despite its thrilling plot and suspenseful moments, in space, no one created a frustrating Maginot Crew question that is hard to overlook. With the series largely focusing on hybrids and prodigy, getting an entire episode dedicated to the Maginot Crew was extremely refreshing, alongside providing a better insight into Morrow's true personality and motivations. Alien Earth Episode 5 felt more like a movie than an episode of TV, with a 65-minute runtime containing so much action and drama. This allowed it to stand out from the previous outings, and despite knowing how the mission ended, the story still kept viewers on edge. The flashback episode even revealed that Cavalier was responsible for the ship crashing in his city, and it also put the spotlight on some of Alien Earth's new creatures, helping the audience understand their unique traits. However, despite all these tremendous qualities, in space, no one still left me with one baffling question regarding the Maginot Crew's mission. Throughout the Alien franchise, we've seen a number of crews capture all kinds of extraterrestrial life forms. But the Maginot team's success is particularly confusing. Not only did they manage to acquire facehuggers, but they also snagged themselves a Ocellus D. Plumbicae, 2 creatures known as Species 19, and an unnamed alien that looks like a beetle. Capturing all these specimens from their natural habitat would have been a significant challenge, and considering how flawed the Maginot Crew was, it leaves so many questions as to how they pulled this off. They didn't seem to have much prior knowledge about these creatures, as Alien Earth Episode 5's chaotic ending clearly proved, nor were they particularly combat-savvy. Sure, the fact that their mission lasted 65 years gave them plenty of time to explore different environments and come across a variety of aliens. However, while the time frame feels believable, the idea of this group successfully approaching and imprisoning such advanced beings feels rather far-fetched based on what we've seen so far. The moment an outbreak happened on the Maginot ship, everything seemed to fall apart, with only Morrow looking remotely equipped to deal with the emergency. Therefore, I'm still puzzled that these creatures even made it to the vessel in the first place after seeing just how ill-prepared the other characters were when it came to facing these terrifying threats. With a vast amount of incompetence on display in Alien Earth Episode 5, it's hard to believe this group of people managed to carry out such a successful discovery mission. Although things went south a few weeks before they were due to arrive on Earth, things seem to have gone pretty well up until then. But I'm not sure how. Chibuzo's decision to eat and drink in the lab was unsurprisingly costly, and it seems like such an amateur mistake to make. Likewise, she failed to ensure these highly dangerous creatures were secure before dealing with the ship's emergency, another choice that proved to be fatal. She wasn't the only guilty culprit, though, as Rahim's decision not to wear a mask while operating on Malachite caused them both to die, alongside Chibuzo, who was helping with the surgery. As acting captain, Zaveri also completely froze in the face of conflict, only surviving so long because the eyeball creature surprisingly fought the Xenomorph in Alien Earth. Morrow felt like the only one on board prepared for these difficult circumstances, but he was also willing to sacrifice the crew to protect the test subjects, and his lack of empathy caused distrust among the group, as did Tang's strange behavior. Add in the fact that a saboteur was on the Maginot, and this entire mission was always destined for disaster. Inevitably, things did fall apart, but the fact that such a flawed team even managed to acquire all these creatures in the first place feels like nothing short of a miracle, and there's only one explanation as to how they pulled this off. With the crew obtaining so many aliens, it seems inevitable that numerous people lost their lives trying to make this happen. During a meal, it was mentioned that the group did in fact lose several members while retrieving these complex life forms, but the number of deaths may have been higher than what we initially thought. There appeared to be plenty of unoccupied cryo-sleep chambers, which accounts for way more than those who were awake during Episode 5. Additionally, it feels like most of the survivors weren't well trained for combat or conflict, meaning the majority of the people responsible for capturing these creatures probably died while trying to contain them, with the others picking up the pieces. Morrow's similarities to Ripley and Alien Earth indicate he may have done a lot of the heavy lifting, as evidenced by the cyborg successfully incapacitating a fully grown Xenomorph early in the season. However, he likely still needed help, And given how big the ship was, it's safe to assume the casualties during this mission were already high before the Maginauts' outbreak. Assuming this was the case, it still creates questions about why the crew didn't take more caution with these aliens, having seen or heard about what they can do. But with Morrow being the crew's only known survivor in alien Earth, we may never get the answer.